Hello, my name is Roland Waits, and this is a fiction story about Ayrton's death. This is total fiction. This has nothing to do with the other video that I have that describes in detail what happened to his car. This is a story to be entertained by. This is not a story to do anything with. So, let me tell you a little fiction story, and we can all ponder all sorts of things about it, but the bottom line is it's a fiction story. Alright, Ayrton was the #1 most famous driver in the world at the time of his death. Hundreds of millions of people tuned in to watch him race, and he felt invincible. And that was kind of his undoing, because what happened with Ayrton Senna was he fought like hell from a child to become the greatest racer in the world at the time. You know, some people would argue that other racers are better, but even his peers today say that he's exemplifies the most aggressive brilliance they've ever seen in a race car driver. In any case, he fights his way to the top, and what he finds out when he gets to the top, now remember, this is a fiction story, but what he finds out when he gets to the top is that it doesn't matter how good you are. What it matters is if the guy at the top is going to let you win. Because you see, the guy at the top is actually selling wins to top sponsors for money. He's not only selling race wins, he's selling championships. And if he doesn't want you to win, you're not going to win. And he expects the team managers who he controls. Now you have to understand that the guy at the top came into the series, he actually drove for a little bit, and he had a friend get killed in a horrific accident. And he went into team management. And what he found out when he went into team management was that, now this is all fiction, so don't get all upset. I'm just making this up. What he found out when he went into team management was that, you know what, there's a hell of a lot of undocumented money that comes into these teams. And there's a hell of a lot of undocumented expenses, unverifiable expenses, that you can actually change the books on, and you can say, well, you know, we spent, $1,000 an hour at a wind tunnel. You know, it's probably just like $20,000 today or $30,000 today, who knows. But in any case, back then, say, well, we spent $1,000 an hour in a wind tunnel when in fact you only spent $100. So $900 disappears, and it goes right into guess whose pocket. So in any case, he comes into the series, and Ayrton works his way through, and somewhere along the way, he gets to the point where he starts realizing somebody clues him into the fact that, you know what, you're not going to win this particular race. And no matter how you try, you're not going to win it, because that guy over there is supposed to win it. So, in any case, he understands that there are races that he's not going to win, but he's going to go out there and try his guts out anyway. Well, in '89, he fights tooth and nail to an ending, and at the end race, this guy comes to him and comes to the other guy and says, you know what, I want you to do this at this corner, and I can guarantee you're going to win a championship. And he says it to the other guy too. He says, you know, I want you to do this at this corner, and you're going to get the championship. Well, to tell you how dirty this series is, this guy actually had somebody who was going to make sure that Ayrton was going to win. And the reason he made sure was because there was money going to this guy. But before the race started, that guy said, you know what, screw you, I want more money. And this guy said, you know what, I'm not paying you no more money. I gave you a bunch of cash. Now cut the crap. When this stuff happens at this corner, I want you to judge that my racer wins the race. Well, you know, it didn't happen that way. Ayrton goes into the meeting, and he's sitting there, and he's, you know, he's been assured, no matter what happens, as long as you don't want to kill the other guy, but as long as whatever happens, you're going to win the race. Well, this guy says, "To hell with you! You're not winning. The other guy wins." And Ayrton's like, "Hey, I did everything I was supposed to do. I did everything I was supposed to do, and here I am. I'm not winning the championship. What's up?" Well, you got to understand, money rules this thing, and there's a motor manufacturer that's been in this series since it started, and their money runs through this whole thing. Even today, this engine manufacturer, this car manufacturer's money runs through the whole thing, and they dump a shitload of money into it. And what they wanted was someone from their own country to win. Well, the guy that runs the series said, "You know what? I can make that happen for you, but it's going to cost you X, Y, and Z." And they were so happy because nobody in the world knows this, And like I said, this is all fiction. This is a fiction story. I'm making this up. So Ayrton doesn't win the race. He doesn't. He gets his win disqualified. He gets knocked out of the championship, and his mind is blown. And he goes right to the guy that runs this thing, and the guy says, "Don't worry about it, Ayrton. We're going to hook you up next year. I want you to fight all year long. We'll get to the end of this thing. I can guarantee you that will never happen again." And indeed it doesn't. Exact same corner. Well, not exact same corner, but the exact same thing happens. And, lo and behold, he becomes champion. Well, there's a give and take over the next couple of years, but the bottom line is this. There's another engine manufacturer who, this guy thinks that, you know what, you're in something that, it's mine, and you owe me more money because you're getting great press. Like I said, it's a fiction story. You're getting great press, and you're in what I own. So you owe me more money. So he goes to this guy that runs the team, and he says, "I want you to tell them that they're going to pay me more money. I want you to demand for your team that you need more money so that you can develop a better car." When in fact, they didn't need to develop a better car. They didn't need a better motor. What they needed was to take that money, bring it into the team budget, and that guy would take that team money and give it right over to this guy. Well, that motor manufacturer said, "You know what? That's horseshit. We're not going to do that." And they left. And they left Ayrton without a motor. And suddenly he's driving cars that he's getting driven away from. Ironically, powered by the same motor manufacturer that's got money running through this whole thing. So, and he's pissed. He's pissed. Now, Ayrton has never stopped finding the edge of existence in that car because he loves it. He loves the sport. But now look, he's dirty. He's just as dirty as everybody else. He's willing to do what's necessary to win the championships. Then he makes a big mistake. The mistake that's going to cost him his life. He goes to these guys and he says, "I'll tell you what's going to happen. I'm sick and tired of those guys driving away from me. I want to be in those guys' car. I want that guy out of that car because I'm sick of him driving away from me, and I want to be in that car, or I'm going to go on worldwide television, and I'm going to tell him what you're doing." It's the stupidest thing he could have ever done, because the way this thing is set up is you got this big man here, and you got all these teams, okay? All right? And you got his guy that controls everything that goes in and out of this thing. Now, if you were to look at the